Hey everyone, and welcome back to Exposing SMG. Harry and Meghan have once again graced us with another trailer for their Netflix soap opera. This time telling us that they're releasing an episode on December 8th and December 15th. Why those specific dates, you may ask? Well, December 8 would make exactly 3 months after the death of Harry's grandmother, Queen Elizabeth II, and obviously they have no respect for anyone unless they can benefit from them. And secondly, Catherine, the Princess of Wales, is hosting her Westminster Abbey Carol concert that day. At this point, it's not beneath Harry and Meghan to overshadow William and Catherine, especially when it comes to charity events. Harry and Meghan also released the first trailer on the eve of Prince William's Earthshot Prize ceremony. The Earthshot Awards were the reason why William and Catherine were in Boston in the first place. For charity. Climate experts from Netflix reportedly have complained to the streaming giant after it aired the trailer, aiding in purposefully overshadowing William and Catherine's charity work. Because nothing is interesting about charity, but of course, trashing the royals is when everyone's going to be tuned in. Members of Netflix's scientific advisory group have complained to the company about the trailer, according to the Sunday Times. Former UN climate chief Cristiana Figueres, who sits on Netflix's advisory group and chairs the Earthshot board, said she felt disappointed. In terms of media and marketing, this was of course done on purpose. It's not that Netflix and Harry and Meghan didn't know. Everyone knew. This is what we call in Hollywood capitalizing on the moment. It's why two competitors in the pop world will release an album in the same week to see who can get the #1 spot. It builds momentum and it's promotion. But unlike the music world, nothing is entertaining about overshadowing a charity event about environmental problems. It's not the first time they have done this. The Oprah interview was strategically released on the day of the Commonwealth program that showcased different projects and people across the Commonwealth. But Harry and Meghan don't seem to care about the environment, as they were just seen landing in New York City using a private jet. By the way, I have word from one of my sources that that's not even their private jet. It's Elton John's, who lets them borrow it for God knows what reason. And that kind of explains why they were always kissing up to him with that horrid video they made for him at his farewell concert. In comparison, William and Catherine, literal working royals who just spend their life doing charity and being public servants, they don't bother anyone, were photographed flying commercial to the climate ceremony in Boston, with Catherine wearing a beautiful rented gown for less than $100. Let me know if you guys want William and Catherine videos and more of Meghan and Harry's one-sided war with them, whilst the future of the UK literally minds their own business. Moving on to the actual pitiful trailer itself, in my first video covering the trailer, I spoke about how they used a photo of paparazzi at a 2011 Harry Potter premiere, pretending that they were the ones being hounded. Ultimately, they got exposed big time, and reportedly, their PR teams are shaking and trying to edit the whole thing now. Look at what happens when you lie. Netflix is now backpedaling, saying, well, it's not meant to be literal. But that makes no sense when the entire story is about how they were fearing for Meghan's life from the hounding media. Also in that first trailer, they used a stock photo of a bunch of little kids waiting for Queen Mary in 1938, perpetuating the idea that those kids were waiting for them. One Twitter user writes, Queen Mary was Queen Elizabeth's grandmother. Using an almost 100-year-old picture of black kids as props and backgrounds is really a shameless act. Why are they using other people's pictures, by the way? It gets worse. As I discussed in my video about the first trailer, they had a narrative and an image they wanted to sell to the viewer, and I think that by including a picture of young kids is them wanting to showcase diversity and how kids love them and how it was all pure at first before the big bad royal family came into play. And in the second trailer, they used another paparazzi shot acting like they were the ones being hounded, meanwhile it had nothing to do with them, considering it's actually Michael Cohen in the photo, Trump's former lawyer who was leaving for a prison term. Here they are using paparazzi hounding Katie Pierce, pretending they're the targets. Mind you, this Katie Pierce footage is from December 2021. Then there's this photo of them being photographed from above by a camera, which is obviously playing on this whole invasion of privacy act, but in typical grifter fashion, it's out of context and something they were in on. Robert Jobson, who is a journalist and royal contributor to American networks GMA and ABC, writes, this photograph used by Netflix and Harry and Meghan to suggest intrusion by the press is a complete travesty. It was taken from an accredited pool at Archbishop's Tutu residence in Cape Town. Only 3 people were in the accredited position. Harry and Meghan agreed to the position. I was there. They are just so nasty. Like, trying to throw people under the bus like this, people that work for you, people that can lose their job over this type of accusation? Chris Shipp, an ITV News royal editor, replies and says, "Here the royal editor makes a valid point. The filming of Archie at Archbishop Tutu's residence was highly controlled. An ITN Productions camera filming the Sussex's Africa documentary was there with their permission. It was not a media scrum. They spoke to Tom Bradby inside." This is not the first time they try to paint their time in Africa in a negative light. Never forget when Meghan made it seem like Archie wasn't safe in the care of a Zimbabwean nanny because there was a fire in the nursery. Meanwhile, it was melted plastic from a heater and Archie wasn't even in the room. And now, to the worst part of the trailer, using Harry's dead mother and his sister-in-law, who probably needs therapy after his betrayal. This trailer includes videos of Catherine hiding from the paparazzi that have been used to demonstrate a point about privacy and a war against Meghan. They literally have the audacity to compare this video of a young Catherine in her 20s, being the definition of hounded by paparazzi, having no royal protection whatsoever because she wasn't married to William at the time and he couldn't provide that. And they want to compare it to Meghan and her so-called invasion of privacy? You mean to compare that with a grown Meghan in her late 30s calling the paparazzi? This was Meghan's first outing with Harry in 2016, and she couldn't help herself but alert the pops. The photographer who took this famous photo hints on Twitter that he was alerted by a source that leads back to the couple. Meghan, I assume? Giselle Pershotum, the same one who took that photo of Meghan and Harry, also took this one and writes, "She knew she was being photographed and wanted this specific outfit with the necklace to be seen for 2 reasons. 1. Her friend Jennifer Meyer will get promo when the pictures publish, and 2. The H&M necklace will be seen by the media and public critics." The same paparazzi, Giselle, writes that a different photo taken by Charlie Purvey of Meghan that landed on the cover of Heat magazine was also set up and organized with the paparazzi. Charles, who took the photos, calls Meghan out for suing Splash for taking photos and writes, "It's a f***ing sham. I know for a fact that Meghan has organized pap shots in the past, and I know for a fact she organized with Splash. This sort of legal action isn't just damaging for the agency, it's damaging for its staff. Leave it to Meghan to throw the working class under the bus." I'm assuming the paparazzi are coming out to expose her lies because they don't want to be hit with claims of invasion of privacy or being disrespectful, especially by the same person who called them to take the photos in the first place. Check out paparazzi Giselle talking about how she smiled for him and posed and how nice she was when she talked to him too.
At the florist, she literally was there. She honestly facilitated. She posed up for us. She smiled at us, me and the other guy I was working with. And we got such a beautiful set of pictures. She talked to us.
And here he implies that she has definitely tipped off the paparazzi while she was with Harry.
Has Meghan tipped off photographers since she's been with Harry?
I'm gonna have to say no comment.
Yeah.
No comment? Well, that's not a no.
I'm just gonna have to say no comment.
Gotcha.
That's actually really interesting. All right. I'm going to say that says a lot.
Now back to the trailer. They used this scene of the late Princess Diana being hounded by the paparazzi with Harry saying, "The pain and suffering of women marrying into this institution, this feeding frenzy. I was terrified." Then a photo emerged of Catherine standing at a Remembrance Day service in 2021 with the headline from Life and Style on December 20, 2010, and the headline read, "Princess in Crisis." The documentary also referenced headlines about Diana, including "The Secret Sadness of Princess Di" and Di's private battle. While there were videos of both Catherine and Diana, the only shot of Meghan and Harry was them sitting in a car and turning their heads to see what was behind them. People called out the Sussexes for claiming a feeding frenzy and a war around Meghan, despite having no proof in the footage and instead using videos and headlines of other females in the family. It's funny that Meghan said she was chased by the paparazzi, but in the trailer, not even a video of her being chased by the paparazzi is included. The only people we see hounded are Diana and Catherine. And as we just saw, Meghan has a famous history of calling the paparazzi even when she was with Harry. At this point in the video, we have established 3 things. 1, Meghan wasn't hounded by the paparazzi. And 2, because the paparazzi didn't hound her, they had to use stock images and videos of photographers being there for everyone else in the world, besides Meghan and Harry. And 3, they are using Diana and Catherine's experiences with the paparazzi to capitalize on their argument and feed this biased narrative that they left because of an invasion of privacy. But what did we learn up until now, kids? Meghan was calling the paparazzi. So their entire argument and line of defense has already crumbled. Also, it's not their right to tell Catherine or Diana stories when they're talking about theirs. The second trailer also involves Harry and Meghan talking about planted stories in the media and how it's a dirty game.
It's a dirty game.
As if they weren't both exposed in court for cooperating with planting stories for their PR book Finding Freedom, or hiring a PR company to plant stories in their favor. A Twitter user also points out Harry's hypocrisy as he urges how much people need truth, trust, and transparency to Stephen Levy, and yet a Harry email revealed in court exposed him saying, "I totally agree that we have to be able to say we didn't have anything to do with finding freedom." Not to mention the handwritten letter Meghan wrote to her father with the deliberate reason of wanting it to be published in the media and using a royal aide to help write the letter, so when everyone read it, they can make sure that it's beautifully and royally written. On top of that, Harry got in trouble for leaking information from the security court case. His legal team shared information with former British Army Major General Tim Robinson, and argued that Tim Robinson specializes in putting out reputational fires and protecting clients' privacy, aka releasing stories to the press and painting a good PR narrative. To which the High Court judge dragged them and said, "It seems to me there was a breach of the embargo," and branded the situation as entirely unacceptable, and told Harry's team, "It is also unacceptable, you have come here without an apology." Harry is moaning about lack of privacy, but as we have seen from these grifters, no one is following them around and nobody cares to, which is why they have to use stock images and videos and include evidence from Catherine and Diana's paparazzi days. And it's funny because he says, "It's a dirty game. A game he plays." Like, what a loser. Then there's this clip of Harry rubbing his head as a heavily pregnant Meghan comes into the room with the laptop, and everyone just calling her out for the alleged moon bump there. What do you think? I know I exposed so much already, but this isn't even the worst of it. Meghan and Harry invited Christopher Bouzy, how do you even say his name? I don't care. I'm just gonna call him Bouzy. So they invited him to speak on trolls, despite Bouzy himself having been involved in trolling Prince William and Princess Catherine and sending them hate several times. Like, these losers literally invited a hater to take the stand. That's how much their credibility is in the toilet, and there's no one standing in their circle. Christopher Bouzy is the founder of data firm Bot Sentinel, which apparently researches online abuse. I guess it missed his tweets. For a while now, many people suspected that he was on the payroll of Meghan and Harry because they were trying to clean up their image on social media, and instead of being good people, they went out of their way to censor everyone on social media by getting Bouzy to suspend accounts that were reporting on their behavior. Meanwhile, at the same time, Meghan claims that she doesn't read anything on the internet. She has no idea what's going on. And yet this is what was happening on behind the scenes. And the fact that he's in the documentary now shows us that he was on their payroll from the start. And at one point, he even claimed that he was being paid by Meghan, and then retracted that claim so he can look impartial. Where did we see this before? Oh right, the authors of the book Finding Freedom also claimed they didn't work with Harry and Meghan, but that was a lie that was exposed in a literal court of law. Now let's take a look at Bouzy's hateful tweets throughout the years. In October 2021, he tweeted about how William and Kate are aging in banana years. "Forgive me in advance for being petty. I just saw a recent photo of William and Kate, and those two are aging in banana years. I don't understand why, since they have a team of people who wait on them hand and foot 24/7. He sounds like a 12-year-old pop stan." In March 2021, he wrote, "I am sorry, but Prince William isn't sexy. That quarantine thirst talking. William looks like a balding Muppet." In October 2021, he wrote, "So are you claiming Harry and Meghan had work done? Moreover, there is nothing wrong with getting work done. I'm sorry, but William and Kate look like Harry's aunt and uncle. There is nothing awe-inspiring about William and Kate. They are a basic couple that just happens to be royalty." And just recently, in June, he is hurling comparisons between William and Kate versus Donald and Melania Trump. Then he started coming at Kinsey Schofield, an American reporter, saying that Harry was never going to marry her. Does this man have a secret crush on Harry and Meghan, or what? And yes, Meghan and Harry are giving a platform to a hater who was sending William and Catherine hate on Twitter. Bouzy says in the trailer that it's about hatred and race, and yet he's making fun of William and Kate's looks. But what would happen if the roles were reversed and someone made fun of Meghan's looks? People are calling her out for her rude and mean behavior, and that gets branded as racism. Nothing to do with how she looks like, just how she has treated people in the past. and what has come out exposed on her agenda. Meghan and Harry are just unbelievable, and they keep stooping lower and lower. Also, the trailer starts off with people loving Meghan, and then Meghan dramatically snapping her finger, implying that everything changed. Yeah, things changed. When you were exposed for being a fraud, it's really not that deep. People liked you at first, and then your true colors were exposed, so surprise, people didn't like you. Anyway, this brings me to the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Like and subscribe for more, because I will be breaking down their Netflix series. Follow us on our social media, and as always, I'll see you next time.